Hey, what's up, teammates? I want to welcome and congratulate all of you top men, top women, leaders, contenders, future regional vice presidents, and fighters for financial freedom to this last installment of our Prove It Hierarchy winning presentation training. Oh my goodness, this is the final stretch. I'm excited about just bringing this information to you. As you know, we are always and forever one team, one dream, and one movement. I know you guys are like, Nick, why do you say that? Because it is true. I believe that teamwork makes the dream work. We teach our kids that, so they know that phrase backwards and forwards. And I promise you that it's the truth. We are one team, one dream, and one movement. And so I'm here at this time to just talk to you about the final piece of what it takes to do a winning presentation. And so in this piece, I'm just going to deal with, hey, what if you meet someone and check this out, they don't want to do the opportunity and they let you know that up front when you're doing the warm up, when you check their pulse, and you ask them that question about more money and more freedom, and they say, hey, you know what, this is not my thing. I got a lot going on, or whatever reason that they give you. How do you pivot from the warm up to go straight into the who we are, what we do, and getting commitments, right? Because that can happen and that will happen. And so when that happens, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you what is the flow to go directly into the who we are, what we do piece of the winning presentation. And so I'm going to start at the warm up and then we'll go into that, right? And so just like I mentioned on the first part of the winning presentation, hey, we do the warm up, you do that whole piece to where you're setting the table. And I talked about how you might want to craft some language as a lead in before you dive straight into the warm up, just to kind of let people know, hey, this is what I've got going on. I'm in a management training program, or I'm in the process of building my financial services agency, looking to impact the community, whatever your lead in language is before you get into the whole. But our company is aggressive. I want to let you know that our company is experiencing a tremendous amount of success. So we are expanding. Whatever your lead in language, craft some language as a lead in before you get into that piece of the warm up. Okay. And so let me just kind of talk my way through it and then we'll go into it. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Klein. Hey, I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to be able to speak with you. I promise you that this is going to be an investment of your time and not just a waste of your time or you spending your time, because when you invest things, you're expecting to get a return out of it. And I think that you all are going to be impressed with a lot of the information that I share with you today, and really how, we're focused on impacting the community and hopefully impacting you as well in a great way. Before I begin, I always like to let people know that right now, our company, believe it or not, we're experiencing a tremendous amount of success. So we're actually expanding. And we're looking for other driven and ambitious people that are open to the possibility of making some more money and also having some more freedom. Now, I don't like to assume anything about anyone that I speak with, so I always like to check people's pulses. I wanted to ask, how does more money and more freedom sound to you? And then what they'll say is that, hey, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but, our jobs are very demanding. My wife travels a lot. We have 2 young kids and an older child that's pretty active. Even though it sounds good, obviously we'd love to make more money and more freedom. I don't know if we'll have the time. Remember, it is not my job to try to convince them otherwise. It's not my job to try to overcome that objection. Well, or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. Remember, professionals sort, amateurs convince, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'll pivot and I'll say, oh, well, great. I understand that, that timing is everything. And I know I've been doing this for over 15 years. And I know that this opportunity is not for everybody. So listen, hopefully with the information I share with you today, that you guys find enough value that it may be some things that you feel you and your family can take advantage of. Worst case scenario, hopefully you feel comfortable at least being a referral source for me. Does that sound fair enough? And they'll say, yeah, that sounds fair enough. Okay, great. Well, let me get to know you a little bit better. Are you guys from this city? And so you're asking about them. Okay, what do you do for a living? And so you're finding out those things about the person. And you say, well, let me ask this question. Have you all ever heard of a company called Primerica? And this is where I share my screen. And they'll say yes, no, okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our company. And I'll just get straight into it. The company that I'm with is Primerica. We've been in business since 1977, so we're not a fly-by-night company that just came around the corner yesterday. We have over 40 plus years in business. Now, we have over 131,000 licensed representatives, so that makes us the largest independent financial service company in North America. A lot of people don't know that, but we have more licensed representatives than anyone. We're also listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Our ticker symbol is PRI, so we're credible on that level. As a matter of fact, this image that you see on your screen is when we draped our banner across Wall Street back in 2015. Excuse me. And in that same year, Forbes magazine, they created a name list of the 50 most trustworthy financial companies in America. And Primerica, we were fortunate enough to make that list. Now, we feel that we're the biggest and the best, but it's not because of our company's size. It's really our company's mission that sets us apart. Our company's mission is to help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. Now, let me park right there. Who do you know that would love to be financially independent? And then, of course, they'll say, everyone would love to be financial, or me, I would love to be financially independent. And I would say, great, absolutely. Everybody would love to be financially independent. But here's the challenge. Most people are not, and they don't have a clue of how to get there. So what we're doing at Primerica is that we come in and we actually help people bridge that gap. And we have a 3-strategy approach to help people create what we call generational wealth. Now, when you hear those words, generational wealth, what comes to your mind? What resonates in your spirit when you hear the words generational wealth? And then you wait for the client to respond, and they'll say things like building a legacy for my family, leaving money for my children or my children's children. Whatever answer that they give you, it's probably going to be spot on. And you tell them that, hey, I agree with everything that you're saying. So this is our 3-strategy approach of helping you accomplish just that. The first strategy is through investments. So what we do is we educate people on how and where to invest their money, right? And how the rate of return you earn on your money is extremely key. We demystify things like, how does your 401k work, or how does your 403b work, or 457 plan, or what is an IRA, and how can those things benefit you? And being able to put money aside to be able to grow and create wealth over time. So that's the first strategy. The second strategy is through life insurance. This is the foundation of every financial house that we build. And we believe in having a big life insurance policy. Why? Because life insurance allows a person to purchase an immediate estate for their family. And life insurance money is tax-free, to the beneficiaries. And so, unfortunately, in our community, either a lot of people don't have life insurance, they don't have enough, or they've been sold the wrong kind. So we're looking to correct that injustice and put that strategy in place. And then the last strategy is my favorite, and that's entrepreneurship. This is tapping into the free enterprise system in America. And we believe that in this season right now, we need to own our own businesses. Owning your own business is the equivalent of building a money machine, right? A business that will provide you income whether you get out of bed or not. How does that sound? I know that sounds awesome, right? And so all three of these things working together in concert is our 3-strategy approach of helping families create generational wealth. And let me show you the strategic partnerships of companies that we work with to help us execute that vision, right? These are our strategic partnerships. Do you see any familiar names on this list? And then what the client will do is that they'll pick out maybe 1, 2, 3 names or so that stands out to them from the list. And then all you have to say in response to that is you say, great. So all we do is we bring Wall Street to Main Street. We are a one-stop shop when it comes to financial services, but guess what? We're able to provide home delivery, even in the virtual world, just like this, right? Now, I mentioned earlier that we don't take a sales approach, we take an educational approach in what we do for families, because we understand that most people weren't taught about money in school, most people weren't taught about money on their jobs, and most of us grew up in households where we weren't really educated about how money works. And so one of the educational approaches that we take is we feel that in life, there are 2 major financial risks that we all have to manage. And that's either we're going to die too soon or we're going to live too long. Dying too soon speaks to the risk that if you were to pass away, your family's probably going to need some money to take care of the responsibilities that you leave behind. So life insurance is the best defensive strategy to have in order to mitigate that risk, but having the right kind and also the right amount. But then you have the other end of the spectrum, which is living too long. And that speaks to the risk of outliving your money in retirement. This is the biggest fear that people have as they get close to retirement or they're heading into retirement is running out of money, because no one wants to run out of money and be forced to go back to work or have to be dependent on the government or family to take care of them. So the best offensive strategy to have is to have enough money invested. So what we do is we create a plan that helps give peace of mind around both scenarios. But like I said, we take an educational approach. And one of the areas that we educate families is on the rule of 72. Mr. and Mrs. Client, have you ever heard of the rule of 72 before? And they'll tell you yes, no. Most people, I'll promise you, family, they have never heard of the rule of 72. And you say, well, great. Well, let me kind of tell you what the rule of 72 is. What the rule of 72 is the foundational rule of the money game, right? See, we're all born in the money game. We all live in the money game, where the average person, we make 6 to 8 money decisions a day, whether we know it or not. But unfortunately, we've never been taught the rules of the money game. So how can we win a game that we've never been shown the rules? Well, the rule of 72, what it does, it approximates the number of years it will take for your money to double. How it works is you take the interest you're earning on your money, divide it into 72, and that tells you how many years it takes for your money to double. I'm going to repeat that. You take the interest you're earning on your money, divide it into 72, and that tells you how many years it takes for your money to double. So this is an example on the screen. Let's say you have 3 different people that have $1,000 that they're going to invest, and they're going to put their $1,000 into different vehicles. One's putting their $1,000 in an account that's earning 3%. The second's putting their money in an account that's earning 6%. And then the last person's putting their money in an account that's earning an average 12%. You with me so far? And they'll say, yep, I'm with you. And let's say if they put their money in this account and they're not going to add any new money to it, they're not going to take any money out, they're just going to let their money sit. Well, the first person, if their money is growing at an average 3%, well, since 3 divides into 72 24 times, it's going to take 24 years for their money to double. You can see that, right? And then they'll say, yeah, is that a long time? And they'll say, yep, that's a long time, right? And then you say, now I always skip the 6%. I always skip the 6% and I go straight to the 12%, just for the sake of speed and just for the sake of the time of the presentation. And I say, but look at that 12%. 12% goes into 72 6 times. So that means that this person's money is going to double every 6 years. Now, I know the answer to this question, but if you had a choice of where your money was invested, would you rather have it in a vehicle that's earning 3% or 12%? And then they'll say 12%. Obviously, it's 12%, because that's not magic. That's just math. I always say that, because that's not magic. That's just math. And besides, you work hard for your money. Why not be in a position where your money can work harder for you? All right. And then on top of that, if you knew, and you could throw this in there as well. And on top of that, if you knew 5 people, and let's say those 5 people had their money invested in a vehicle that was earning 3%, but there was information out there that can show them how to go from earning 3% to earning an average 12%, and it made sense to them, how many of those 5 people would choose to invest their money at 12%? And they'll say all 5. And I'll say, you're absolutely correct. The challenge is most people don't even know that the 12% is available. And that's where the referral piece and you being able to connect us with people that you may know that can be blessed by this information comes into play and is extremely important. So what I did right there, I just planted seeds with this person for the possibility of collecting referrals on the back end based on the value of the information that I'm sharing with them. I'm going to repeat that. What I just did, I just planted seeds with the person that I'm presenting to give me referrals later on the back end based on the value that I'm presenting in this information. All right. And so we keep it going. I say, okay, well, great. Well, there's actually 3 different investment phases that we all travel through. You have the accumulation phase, you have the protection phase, and you have what's called the distribution phase, right? And it's all based on your age. If you're between age 18 and 55, you're in the accumulation phase. This is where you need to be aggressively saving and investing your money to build your nest egg. And then this phase, you can afford to take on just a little bit more risk because you're looking to accumulate money and have your money to grow. But once you reach about age 50 to 55, you transition into what we call the protection phase. And that's where you need to be trying to preserve your principal. And what that means is that it's wise to reallocate your investments when you're in this phase to be more conservative. So that way, if a major market downturn hits, and you know that can happen, you won't ride that roller coaster of your money going up and down because you've reallocated to be more conservative. And so now your money is protected. But then once you reach about age 60 to 65, oh my goodness, this is when you transition into the distribution phase. This is when you're looking to retire, right? And you're looking to live off the money that you've accumulated. And I can be honest with you, this is where people experience a lot of fear and a lot of trepidation because they don't know what this phase is going to look like. And this is where those concerns about, am I going to run out of money or am I going to be forced to go back to work? This is where those fears come into play. And so what we do is we help people answer the question at the bottom. And that is, do you know your FIN number, right? Your FIN number is an acronym for Financial Independence Number. We all have one, but here's the problem. Most people don't know what their FIN number is, right? Your FIN number, your Financial Independence Number is the amount of money that you need to have invested by the age you're ready to retire to never have to worry about going back to work. It's basically your finish line or the target that you're shooting for. We like to call it your get down number. Come on. Because that's when you can get down, get away from a job, and never have to worry about going back to work. And normally when you say that get down number part, family, that's when people will laugh and they'll nod their head. They'll be like, I know that's right. And that's just a humorous point in the presentation that you can share with them and just kind of bring out. But this really drives the point home. And so what you say is that it's your get down number. This is that number that you got to hit that when you can get down, get away from the job and never have to worry about going back to work. Listen to this. It is impossible for anyone to plan for their retirement if they don't know their FIN number. And we can give you that information for free, which I'll tell you about a little bit later. Coming down the home stretch. Now, I'm going to stop right here. I'll always say that when I get to this slide. When I get to the theory of decreasing responsibility slide, my first words are coming down the home stretch. And what that does, that just psychologically, I believe, puts a person at ease to let them know, hey, there's not that much more left, right? They don't know what this presentation looks like. They've never seen this presentation before. They don't know if you got one more slide or if you got 10 more slides. But when I get here, I make sure that I tell them, hey, coming down the home stretch, right? This is our philosophy when it comes to life insurance. It's called the theory of decreasing responsibility. Did you know that life insurance is not something that you need your whole life, right? That's a myth. That's a myth that the industry created to try to convince people to pay them life insurance premiums until the day they die. And that's simply not true. Life insurance in its original inception was never designed to be a permanent thing, right? You do not need life insurance your whole life. You really only need life insurance while you don't have enough cash to take care of your responsibilities if you pass away. So if you look at this graph on the screen, this is how life and life insurance should work. If you look on the left side, you have this red line and the blue line. The red line's on top, the blue line's on bottom. And you're looking at a young family. The red line says in the early years, this family may need a lot of life insurance coverage. Why? Because they have more responsibilities. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, it says today they have young children, they have high debt, they have a mortgage that they're servicing. So they're probably in a situation where their household depends on both incomes for the husband and the wife. So if the husband passes away, it would be devastating for his family financially. Do you agree with that? And the client will say, yes, it will. And so because if you look at the blue line, they may not have a lot of money accumulated, a lot of savings at this point because they're still building their nest egg. So they need a lot of life insurance at this point because they're financially vulnerable. But as they go through life, and we move from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, you notice that the blue and the red arrow flip-flop, right? And now the couple's a little bit older, and you don't see their daughter in the screen. Now their daughter's an adult. And so the blue line is now on top. It says at retirement, which is where they are right now, you better have some money because now it's time to retire. But now the red line says, guess what? You may not need any life insurance. Why? Because if you look down at the bottom at retirement, your kids are grown and gone. Hopefully they're out of the house and they're not financially dependent on you anymore. Your debt is lower and your mortgage is paid, or it's almost paid, or you should be in that position. And so what we do is we educate on the left side, going back there, we educate people on how to get the life insurance coverage they need, but at a cost that's affordable to them. And at the same time, we're working with them on how and where to invest their money. So by the time they do reach retirement, we want our clients to have so much cash that they're self-insured. Does that make sense? And I always ask that question at the end. Does that make sense? And they'll say, yes, it does. Okay, great. Well, we know that most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Our solution for that is something called a financial needs analysis, or we refer to it as a wealth builder. And all that is a financial plan. It's customized to fit whoever we're in front of, whether a person is married, single, kids, no kids. We customize their plan. It's also confidential, which means that we don't share any of your personal business. We definitely value your privacy. But the best part about it is that it's complimentary. And I always joke and say that's nothing but a bougie word for free, because if something is free, we know that anyone can take advantage of it. And just like it says here, it's like a financial GPS. It helps you find the answer to the important question. So where are you at right now? But ultimately, what are the steps you need to take in order to be on track to be financially independent? Now, I'm going to ask this question at the bottom. I already know the answer to it. But on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how would you rate your desire to be properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent? And everybody's going to say 10, or you'll have people that say higher than a 10, 15, 20, 100, right? And then you say, absolutely, great. And I agree with you 100% on that. Now, by you answering a 10, that lets me know that you could probably benefit from getting one of our free wealth builders. Let me explain that whole situation, right? So it's the equivalent of us taking you through a one-page questionnaire. It is not all invasive in your personal business or anything like that. But what it does do, it helps us identify a couple of key areas that we know that are probably important to you when it comes to your financial well-being. The whole process, again, it takes about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. We would love an opportunity to set up a meeting to be able to do that with you. Would you be open to allowing us to do a free wealth builder with you? And they'll say yes. Or they may have a question, or they may have, some questions for you, or whatever the case may be, and all that good stuff. And it might be a good idea before you even ask that last question to see if they have any questions, right? Before you go into on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how would you rate your desire to be properly protected, debt-free, and financial? Before you ask that question, you might say, hey, I want to see if you have any questions before I ask my last question. And then that way, if they have any questions about anything that you've shown them, what stood out to them, and all that good stuff, you can get that covered. Then you can say, okay, well, this is my question, my last question. I think I already know the answer to it. On a scale from 1 to 10, and then you go there, all right? And so, and then once they respond 10, what you're looking to do is you want to offer them the option, hey, look, we can go through your wealth builder right now. Again, the process takes between maybe 30, 45 minutes to maybe an hour. Who knows? They may be open to actually starting the wealth builder at that point. Now, I'm a person to where I don't like going through a wealth builder unless a person has access to the key information that's necessary to be able to complete the wealth builder in a healthy way, right? And that is, what is their current balance in their retirement savings? How much do they contribute per month in their retirement? If they have life insurance policies outside of their job, can they put their hands on their policies, or can they look up online the details of their life insurance policies? Because you'll need that information to be able to truly do an accurate or accurate enough wealth builder plan. Sometimes, I'll take a guesstimate on the retirement and all that good stuff. Those numbers don't have to be 100% accurate. If they are, that's great. But if it's a roundabout number when it comes to retirement balance, or if they can look up a pay stub or whatever the case may be and see how much are they contributing towards their retirement, and also be able to tell you how much is their company matching their contributions towards their retirement if that's happening. And a lot of people's companies and jobs are matching their retirement contributions, then that's good too. You need to know that information, or we can kind of guesstimate it. The only thing I don't like to have a client estimate or give you the I think is when it comes to personal life insurance outside of the job. Now, if they have job life insurance, it doesn't really matter. We can kind of guesstimate that because we're going to kill the job insurance anyway and really focus them on owning a program outside of the job. But when you come across a client that has coverage outside of their job, you need to know the facts about that policy. The client needs to know the facts about that policy. And so that way, you know what you're competing against. You know what you're going up against. You know what it is and what you can offer them that will provide them more value for the money that they're spending, right? Because a lot of people's life insurance programs have gotchas that are in them that they don't know because people get policies, they don't read through them. They're going off the word of the agent that sold them the policy. And a lot of times they don't even remember, what they said or what the policy was supposed to do. So people are walking around literally thinking that they got about $200,000 in life insurance coverage and they got maybe $20,000 in life insurance coverage. You got people saying things like, I got $250,000 of life insurance on me and I'm paying, $10 a month for that. And they're thinking that they have real life insurance until you show up and you're able to tell them and show them, once you know what the facts are about the policy, that, you got that coverage, but you have accidental death, right? Coverage. That's why you're able to have so much coverage and it costs so little, right? And that's not pure protection. In order for you, that death benefit to pay out, you have to die by an accident. And it might be some stipulations in there where you have to die within a certain window of time in order for that policy to pay out. So that's just an example. People don't know things like that. That's why it is so key and so important for when you're dealing with somebody that has life insurance outside of the job, that they have access to their policy. And that's why I like them to have that. And a lot of times it's warranted to set a second meeting as opposed to going directly into it. But if people have access to all that information, teammates, go ahead and, ask them if they want to start the Wealth Builder right now. You don't know, hey man, they can go flow right into it. And you might be able to pick up a client, make a sale, do all of that right there on the spot in that one appointment. There's nothing wrong with that. And also be able to get the referrals, right? And so the last thing that I share with them is once I get their commitment to give, to be able to give me a second meeting or to be able to go through the Wealth Builder and all that good stuff. And I schedule that second meeting. When am I trying to schedule that second meeting? I said it on the last training. I'm looking to schedule that Wealth Builder appointment no longer than about 96 hours after this meeting, this first meeting. I'm trying to do it in a short window of time. If their schedule allows, I'm trying to do it within about a 3 to 4 day window. Let's get back together the next 3 to 4 days to do that Wealth Builder. Sometimes their schedule doesn't allow, you have to extend out longer, but what you're trying to do is get it booked within probably a 3 to 4 day window. If it could be sooner, that's great. But when you get that commitment for them to do the Wealth Builder, you have to plant the seeds for referrals. You have to plant the seeds for referrals, right? Because you only get what you negotiate on the front end, right? And I'm telling you, this is one of the most overlooked pieces when we get these commitments to do Wealth Builder. We don't talk about referrals. And then once we do the Wealth Builder, we're trying to get referrals and the client might be stutter stepping on giving you the referrals. Why? Because you never negotiated it on the front end. And so you tell them, hey, great, I'm excited about being able to do your Wealth Builder with you. I think that you're going to be excited about the information that we share with you. It's going to be a free analysis and consultation, but our only fee for service are referrals of people that you know that you feel that can be blessed by going through this process, right? And so if we take you through the process and you like it and you feel that there's value there, do you have any challenge giving us referrals of people that you know that you feel could really benefit from going through the same process? That is you negotiating, getting referrals on the front end, right? And so they'll tell you yes. And that way, on that Wealth Builder appointment, when you come back to the notion of giving referrals, it's not going to be foreign to the person that you're meeting with, all right? because referrals are the lifeblood of our business. Without them, your business will slow down to a grinding halt, right? So you need to be able to get those referrals, especially if you're not going to recruit the person, all right? And so that's the situation. And remember what I said in the last training, don't go through the presentation. You did a great job with the warm up. You did an excellent job with the who we are, what we do, and all that good stuff. And then you get to the part where it's time for you to get a commitment for them to do the wealth builder, and you just freeze. You just have this, this hesitation come over you about getting them to the place where you're leading them to make a commitment to do the wealth builder. This is where you need to stand up, be strong, be confident, be bold, and assume that they're going to give you that meeting to do the wealth builder, right? And so be strong at that moment. You can be subpar in all these other areas, but if you are strong and mighty on that last page, I'm going to pull it back up. If you are strong and mighty on this last page where you're pulling it all together, you're talking about the solution, wealth builder, it's customized to fit whoever situation we're in front of. It's confidential, right? We don't share your business. It's complimentary, bougie word for free, right? And if it's free, anyone can take advantage of it. It's a financial GPS, all that stuff. You can tell them that. And you say, listen, do you have any questions? Answer any questions. Then you say, I have one question. I think I know the answer. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how would you rate your desire to be properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent? And they'll say 10. Well, by you answering the question that way, that lets me know that you or you all can probably benefit from getting one of our free wealth builders. Let me explain what that is. It's the equivalent of us taking you through a one-page questionnaire, right? It is not all invasive in your personal business. It's not that. But what it does do, it identifies a couple of areas that I know that are probably important to you guys when it comes to your financial future. That whole process takes about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. We would love an opportunity to be able to meet with you to give you a wealth builder. Would you be open to that? And you project that confidence, you project that competency, and you project that just good energy, that positive vibe when you do that. And I guarantee you, it'll lead to more people saying yes, as opposed to, let me think about it. Now, what happens, Nick, if they say, I already have a person, I already have a financial plan, or let me think about it and all this stuff. Well, let me deal with both of those, because that's two different objections. Let's deal with the objection of, I already have a financial plan, or I already have a person that I'm working with. Then you say, well, great. Well, listen, that lets me know that you're definitely serious about your financial future because you have a plan already. But a lot of times when we meet with people that already have plans, once they see the information that we present to them in our wealth builder, they notice key areas that their first plan did not address, where they might be limiting their personal financial success. I'm going to repeat that. So a lot of times when we meet with people that already have plans, once they see the value of our wealth builder, they identify areas in their current plan that they might be limiting their personal financial success. And you and I both know that is the last thing that you want to do, is limit your personal financial success. Like I said, the whole process takes about maybe 30, 45 minutes to an hour. Consider it a second opinion for free. If you went to the doctor and you got a diagnosis for a condition, you probably wouldn't just accept that diagnosis from your doctor. What you would probably do is look for a second opinion. Am I correct in saying that? And they'll say, that's right. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to your financial well-being. You've gotten a diagnosis on what your current financial situation is. And you've probably gotten some information on what you need to do to hit some of your financial goals. Consider our wealth builder a second opinion for free. What we'll do is we'll be able to work with you. And guess what? We may confirm the things that have already been shown to you in your first plan. But again, we might identify some areas that the first plan did not address, and you could be limiting yourself. And the last thing that you want to do, like I say, is you don't want to limit yourself and follow that plan only to find out that it was a blind spot in that plan. Again, the whole process takes about maybe 30, 45 minutes just to get that peace of mind. If everything is good with your first plan, that's fine. We'll be able to confirm that with you. Would you be open just getting that second opinion for free? And I'm telling you, you'll have people that say, yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'll see what it is. Or you might be able to ask, when was the last time you got that plan? Or when did you get your plan? And they'll say, well, I got my plan, X amount of years ago. Or you can say, when was the last time you got a refresh on your plan? And they'll say, oh man, it's been a minute, or it's been this time, that time. Well, some circumstances in your life have probably changed since then. You may have changed jobs, had a child, things have probably changed. May have bought a home. Would you agree that maybe some circumstances have changed? And so that's an angle that you can go to as well, and just dealing with people on, when did you get your plan? It may have been years ago. When was the last time you got a refresh on your plan, right? Because it may have been a while, or they may have never gotten a refresh on their plan. And then that leaves room, and that opens up the door, again, for you to give them that second opinion for free based on their current situation, all right? Now, the other thing is the person that says, hey, let me think about it. I say, well, great. Well, listen, I want you to go ahead and think about it. But you and I can both agree that if you were given an opportunity to become financially independent, you want to take advantage of that, correct? And they'll say, yes, I do. I say, well, this is that opportunity to where we can definitely give you information that can put you on the path to show you what you need to do to become financially independent. So the very thing that you want, we can help you get there. I know that you got to think about it, but if it's okay with you, let's just set up a tentative meeting, right? Let's set up a tentative meeting to where it gives you an opportunity to think about it. And if it's something that you want to move forward with, let's at least, we can have something on the calendar. We can follow back up, right? And I'll follow back up with you to make sure that appointment is going to stick. If it doesn't, then that's okay. I'll pencil you in and just follow up to see whether or not we can make that appointment. And so you schedule the tentative meeting with the client, or you look to do that. I'm real big on tentative appointments because you never know. Those tentative appointments may lead to concrete meetings. And you guys may already have some things that you share with clients in those situations that's working for you. If it's working for you, continue to do that. I just wanted to kind of share a couple of things that might be able to benefit you if you're getting stonewalled by those types of objections of people not wanting to move forward. But again, if a person keeps stonewalling you, do not try to convince them, because there may be some underlying things that they're embarrassed about that they don't want to disclose or show to you or anything like that. And it doesn't matter whether or not you say Marvin Gaye is going to be on the next appointment. They're not going to do it. And so if you're noticing that they're just not wanting to move forward, that is your cue to pull the plane up and say, hey, I appreciate your time, and then segue into the referral piece. And how do you do the referral piece? If a person doesn't want to set up a follow-up meeting with you, or they already have a plan and they don't want to follow up a meeting with you for whatever reason, what you want to do, you want to at least get a referral or whatever from them, right? Or a list of referrals. I say, well, obviously, it's not something that you want to move forward with, but let me ask you a question. Would you agree that the information that we share with you, that it's beneficial, that it's impactful? And they'll say, yes, it is, right? Would you agree that everybody would like an opportunity to become financially independent? And they will say yes. And you say, well, what we want to do is we want to give you the opportunity to be able to pay it forward, right? Because God sends blessings to who he can send blessings through. We believe that. And so we want to give you a chance to not just be a reservoir for the information, but be a river, right? And refer some people that you feel could really be blessed by this information. You said that it's powerful information and that people have a desire to become financially independent. Here's the problem. Who's teaching them? Who's showing them? Nobody's teaching our people how to do that. Well, you have an opportunity to be able to connect people that you know to this information through giving referrals. So who are 3 to 5 people that you know that you feel could really benefit from getting this information? They're not obligated to do anything. It's just an opportunity for us to be able to contact them and give them a chance to see what you just saw that you felt that was so beneficial. And so you're working that referral piece, and you're looking to get 1, 3, 5 or more contacts. But I kind of stick to about 3 to 5 because I'm looking for quality over quantity. And I give them who I'm looking for when it comes to those referrals. I'm giving them, hey, I'm looking for people that are between age 25 and 50, employed full time. And so I start with that. And so that's my governor. That's my governor. I'm looking for those candidates. Don't let people just throw referrals at you. Let them know who you're looking for, and the type of candidates that you want to contact. And let that steer them towards the people that they're going to refer to you. And so whatever your qualifications are, make sure the non-negotiables They have to be employed full-time or have a full-time level of income and be between age about 25 and 50 at the oldest, or you can do the 25 to 45, whatever the case may be. It's up to you, but you steer them towards the people that you're looking for. You can throw in a person that is between that age range, employed full-time, and either has one of these three characteristics. They're either married, has a kid that's under the age of 19, or they own a home. I'm going to repeat those three. They're either married, has a kid that's under the age of 19, or they own a home. They can have at least one of those three characteristics along with being employed full-time and being between that age range that we talked about. All right. And so teammates, hopefully this was helpful. And this is just some information. So as you go through the winning presentation, if you come across someone that, hey, from the jump, they're not open to the opportunity, how do you segue into the who we are, what we do, and how do you explain those different sections and get the commitment and plant the seeds for the referrals, or either gather the referrals? All right. So I'm excited about your future and your success in this business. Take this information, listen to it over and over and over again, indoctrinate it into your thinking, and let it be something that's going to empower you and embolden you in your crusade to impact your community. Thanks a lot, teammates.